Walk with me.
Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the I am. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. Now, how can you not do iniquity? How can you? There is no iniquity in walking in the way of the I am. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be ashamed when I have respect unto all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. I will keep thy statutes, or forsake me not utterly. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. Of Psalms of David, chapter 119. Yes, keep the way of the Most High. A young man should learn the way of the Most High. The law is wisdom. The law is wisdom. The law is wisdom. And to understand is to depart from evil. Yes. Now, we're in the 43rd chapter of the book of Jubilees. Yes, and we're going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. We give God the praise and the glory for you. And also, we thank God for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, and we thank God for those of you that have moseyed on in between thereof, and we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed or followed, and those of you that are about to subscribe or follow, and we thank God for you. Yes, all praises to the Most High for you. Yes, and let us pray. Oh, most holy Creator, we thank you. We thank you that we can learn of you. Your word is still true. Your word is still intact. The word, even your law, statutes, ordinances. Yes, it's written in historical form, but we thank you for it. We thank you that a young man can cleanse his way. A young man can be clean by following you, for your word is clean, and those who follow it are clean. Yes, they cannot err as long as they follow your way. They cannot be in sin as long as they follow your way. But many have deceived themselves, and that they ask forgiveness and go back to their same sin, and over again, forgiveness and sin, forgiveness and sin. Their heart is not right. For you judge the heart and not the flesh. And we thank you for that our way, our fruit is evident before the world of what kind of people we are. Yes, and we thank you for all things. And with that, we ask you to deliver me from the hands of the evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, O God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. And forevermore. Yes, a psalm of Abram. Jubilees chapter 14 or 12 and 20. Yes. That our seed walk after we gone, that they still walk in the ways of the Most High. This is what he's saying. Forevermore. Yes, and now we're in the book of Jubilees. The book of Jubilees chapter 43, and we ended at verse 15, and we're going to begin at verse 16. Yes, and he said they began to weep. When they saw their brother, they spoke in their own tongue or Hebrew tongue or whatever tongue you want to call it. This is what the heathen called that tongue. And he said unto them, weep not over me, but hasten and bring my father to me. And ye see that it is my mouth that speaketh, and the eyes of my brother Benoni see. For behold, this is the 2nd year of the famine, and there are still 5 years without harvest or fruit of trees or plowing. It's going to get worse. And come down quickly, ye and your household, so that ye perish not through the famine. And do not be grieved for your possessions, for the I am sent me before you to set things in order, that many people might live. In other words, this man mature. He's mature. He understood. He didn't just get a growl. I'm going to kill everyone. No, he didn't do that. He said, I know who God is, and I know what God did and why your hearts was hardened toward me and jealous and spiteful. I know how God did it. He might have said, what spirit will go down and stir the hearts of his brothers up that they might deliver him unto Egypt, that I might send them there to be saved and chastise them and be to the point where they are ready to serve me. This could have happened. Now, verse 19, and tell my father that I am still alive. And ye, behold, ye see that the I am hath made me as a father to Pharaoh, and rule over his house and over all the land of Egypt. And tell my father of all my glory and all the riches and glory of the I am that hath given me. And by the command of mouth of Pharaoh, he gave them chariots. I mean, he gave them something to ride in. They could ride a little faster. I mean, it was 70 souls, so it wasn't really much. So they could ride faster. So we can say that if they were coming from South Africa, it would be a little bit faster. They would ride probably about, could be 10 miles an hour. I mean, depends on how fast the chariots rode. I mean, they had provisions, they had things. And so he said to their father, he sent them raiment and silver and 10 asses, which carried corn. And he sent them away. And they went up and told their father that Joseph was alive and was measuring out corn to all the nations of the earth, and that he was ruler over the land of Egypt. Yes. And verse 24, and their father did not believe it. I mean, he's an old man. He's really an old man. Jacob, he's been through a lot to get where he is. And their father did not believe it, for he was beside himself in his mind. But when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent, the life of his spirit revived. And he said, it is enough for me if Joseph liveth. In other words, I'm glad the son that Rachel have nurtured for me is still alive. I will go down and see him before I die. Chapter 44. And Israel took his journey from Haran, or Jacob took his journey from Haran to his house on the new moon. The first day of the 3rd month, he went on the way of the well of oath, and he offered a sacrifice to the God of his father Isaac on the 7th of this month. The well of oath, I believe that's where Esau and Jacob made an oath that they would not come against each other for good or evil, or for evil. Yes. And verse 2. And Jacob, even Jacob, remembered the dream. See, they went from Israel to Jacob, Israel to Jacob. Every time you go throughout the Bible, they change a name. They might go back and forth, except for with who they call Joshua. But before that, if you go back into, I believe, Deuteronomy, his name was, Deuteronomy. His name was Oshe. But Moses called him Joshua. There was no J in that time. How thick can we get? I mean, I was thick that way to believe it too, because I didn't know any better until I understood. Now, Jacob remembered the dream that he had seen at Bethel, and he feared to go down into Egypt. And while he was thinking of sending a word to Joseph to come to him, that he would not go down, he remained there 7 days at the well of oath, if perchance he should see a vision as to where. Now you understand, he said to go down into Egypt. Now, in other words, he had to go up to come down, to go back down. He had to be in the mountains or the high places to go back down into Egypt, because Egypt was more towards sea level. And as you go south of Africa, you go up in elevation. Okay? So we're trying to pinpoint through Scripture where this place is. And he celebrated the harvest festival of the first fruit with an old grain, for in all the land of Canaan there was not a handful of seed in the land, for the famine was over all of the beasts and cattle and birds, and also over man. So they had to feed the cattle, they had to feed the beasts. I mean, the fact is that they had to feed. Everybody had to eat. And corn was one of the, should I say, primary methods where they fed themselves and their cattle. Yes, corn. And on the 16th day of the 45th Jubilee is what he's saying, the I Am appeared unto him and said unto him, Jacob, Jacob. He didn't say Israel, Israel. He said, Jacob, Jacob, here. And he said, here am I. And he said unto him, I am the God of thy fathers, the God of Abram and Isaac. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will make thee a great nation. In verse 6, he said, I shall go down with thee, and I shall bring thee up again. Go down with thee. Listen. And I shall bring thee up again. In this land thou wilt be buried. In other words, he had to come back up to be buried, or they had to bring him back up. And Joseph will put his hands upon thine eyes. Fear not to go down into Egypt. And his sons rose up, and his sons' sons, and they placed their father and their possessions upon wagons. And Israel rose up from the well of Oph on the 17th. Now this was the 16th. Now the next day he rose up on the 17th. Let's go back. What day was that? He says now on the 16th of that same month. Now on the 17th of that month, he said he rose up on the 16th, the 16th, both of them on the same day. The same day the I Am spoke to Jacob, he rose up of this third month, and he went to the land of Egypt. And Israel, remember, keep that date, on the 16th of that month. Now Israel sent to Judah before him, he sent Judah before him to his son Joseph to examine the land of Goshen. For Joseph had told his brothers that they should come and dwell there, that they might be near him. And this was the goodliest land in Egypt. I mean, this was grassiest land. At that time, grassiest land that was really nice. And for farming and for grazing of cattle. And near them, for all of them, and also for the cattle. And these are the names of the sons of Jacob who went into the Egypt with Jacob their father. Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. These are the names of his sons, Enoch, Palu, and Hezron, and Carmi. There were 5. Now, Simeon and his sons, these are the names of his sons, Jemuel and Jamin and Ohad and Jachin and Zohar, Saul, and the son of the Zephathite woman. There were 7. And Levi and his sons, these are the names of his sons, Gershon and Kohath and Merari, 4. Now, Judah and his sons, and these are the names of his sons, Shelah and Perez and Zerah. Those are the sons that he had by Tamar, his supposedly daughter-in-law. Now, Issachar and his sons, these are the names of his sons, Tola, Puah, Jashub, or Asab, or Yasab. There was no J back then. And Shimron, 5. Zebulun, that's verse 17, and his sons. These are the names of his sons, Sadad, Elon, Mahil, 4. And these are the sons of Jacob and their sons, whom Leah bore to Jacob in Mesopotamia, 6. And their one sister Dinah, and all the souls of the sons of Leah and their sons who went with Jacob, their father, into Egypt, were 29. And Jacob their father being with them, they were 30. 30 souls. Okay? And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, the wife of Jacob, whom she bore unto Jacob, Gad and Asher. Yes. And these are the names of their sons who went with them into Egypt. The sons of Gad, Zephion and Haggai and Shuni, and Zebon and Eri and Ariel and Arodi, 8 souls. And verse 21, their souls, the sons of Asher, Imnah, and Ashva, and Ishvi, and Bera, and Sarah, and their one sister, 6 souls. And all the souls were 14, and all those of Leah were 44. And the sons of Rachel, the wife of Jacob, Joseph, and Benoni. And there were born to Joseph in Egypt before his father came into Egypt those whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, was priest of Heliopolis. Polis means city, or gathering of people, city. Helo city, Heliopolis, bear unto him. That's a Greek word. Polis is always, polis means city. Come on here. Give me a break. Unto him, Manasseh and Ephraim, 3. And the sons of Benjamin. So you have to sort of you have to get through all these things of these Greek people who have infiltrated the word of the Most High, that infiltrated the history. They have infiltrated. They have substituted and inserted and removed, and you have to sometimes it's like swimming upstream, trying to ask God to give you understanding and how to decipher whether what they put in here is false or true. But we know that his word is true. If it don't fit, it ain't true. And you have to do some other digging too as to knowing how different languages work. Not much, just a little bit. He said, to bear unto him Manasseh and Ephraim, 3 souls. 25, verse 25. And the sons of Benjamin, of Benoni, Bela, Betcha, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, and Eha, and Rosh, and Muppim, and Huppim, and Ard, 11 souls. And all the souls of Rachel were 14. And the sons of Bilhah, see, the woman was honored too. Although they were demised, they still were honored. And the sons of Bilhah, the handmaid of Rachel, the wife of Jacob, whom she bare to Jacob, were Dan and Naphtali. And these are the names of their sons who went with them into Egypt. And the sons of Dan were Husham and Salmon and Hasudi and Ijaka and Salomon, 6 souls. And they died the year in which they entered into Egypt, and there was left to Dan Husham alone. And these are the names of the sons of Naphtali, Jaasiel and Guni and Jesha and Shalom and Iv. And Iv, who was born after the year of the famine, died in Egypt. And all the souls of Rachel were 26. Okay. Now, and all the souls of Jacob that went into Egypt were 70 souls. There were only 70 souls left. All right. Now, and these are his children and his children's children, all 75, and in Egypt before Joseph, and had no children. Before Joseph had no children. And in the land of Canaan, 2 sons of Judah died, Ir and Onan, and they had no children. And the children of Israel buried those who perished, and they were reckoned among the 70 Gentile nations. Yes. We're going to read from the first verse of the 45th chapter. And Israel went into the country of Egypt, into the land of Goshen, on the first day of the 4th month in the 2nd year. You got to remember, if you go back a little further, he was on the 3rd month. And the 17th, or should I say, the 17th or 16th day in the 2nd year of the 3rd week of the 45th Jubilee. Now, this is still in the 45th Jubilee. But apparently it took some time to get back to Egypt. I would say about a month, less than a month here is what it's saying. Now, what we can say is, how far would it be if we take it like from Africa, South Africa, all the way to Egypt? Think about it. Do the math. And with that, we're going to say, peace. No matter how life goes, one thing I know.